How I hypnotize myself to be consistent. Yes, literally, hypnosis. How I hypnotize myself to be consistent. If you guys have watched my videos, you know I'm a big believer in hypnosis. Not like the stage hypnotism where they make you think you're a duck and you start quacking. No, but like the idea that if you can change your internal reality, if you can change your internal reality, you can change your external reality. If you can change the deepest beliefs about yourself in the world, you will start seeing yourself in the world differently. You will start acting differently, talking differently. And so I have a process for how I undergo massive change myself and how I help other people in coaching undergo massive transformation themselves. And that process, I've talked about it in multiple other videos, but it's about knowing what you want, knowing your desires, and it could be long-term or short, and then understanding who you must become character-wise and traits. Like, must you become more focused, more disciplined, more relentless, whatever it is. And so for what I was going for, and what I'm still going for, the character traits that I needed, one of them was consistency. And I'm a big believer of doing one thing at a time, not trying to work on too many things at a time. The most important character trait for me, the two most important, were focus and consistency. I always had willpower. I always had the will to make things happen, to make something from nothing. But what I lacked for a lot of my life was focus and consistency. And in that, consistent focus and focusing on consistency. See how that works? So those two things were very much go hand in hand for me. For me, consistency was like the key that would open the door to the next chapter of my life, to the success, to all these things. I knew in the back of my head that consistency was that magic key, because I had never been consistent for a long period of time in anything in my life consciously. Any project, any job, anything like that. The longest I've had a job, I think, was for like 8 or 10 months or something like that. Is it? Yeah, a full-time job. And so I knew that I had to be consistent, because I could focus real deep in whatever I was doing. Like I could engage my focus, but engaging my consistency and bringing that out of myself, cultivating that, was something I had never really committed to doing. Never something that you can't do. It's something that you just haven't committed to doing. And so I became committed on figuring out how to cultivate that consistency in myself. And if you want the actual techniques and tactics, I'll give it to you real quick. I made all of my daily subconscious rewiring routine sessions. I made all of like my meditation sessions, all of my affirmations, all of my journaling, all of my exercise, all these things. I made that all about becoming a man of consistency. That's what I made it all about. And you do that for 2 weeks, 21 days, 30 days, 2 months, 3 months at a time, 6 months at a time. Very quickly, sooner than you think, you become someone who's incredibly consistent. So at this point right now, I'm posting 2 videos a day. And being consistent is also about knowing who you are. All of this is about knowing who you are. And I say that to say you must operate at the pace that allows you to be consistent. I was very much the person for most of my life who was a sprinter and not a marathon runner, when life is a marathon, right? You can sprint the day, but you can't sprint life. You can't cheat the grind in that way. My dad would always tell me that it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. Or it's a marathon, not a sprint. And so for so many parts of my life, I tried to sprint through them. I tried to sprint to become successful. I tried to sprint to become qualified. And you'll do that long enough and as many times as it takes for you to realize that just doesn't work. I don't know what else to tell you. And then if that describes you, then consistency is probably the number one thing that you should be working on. Like, you're probably a lot like who I was and who I'm still working on leaving behind. So now let's get more specific. When it comes to hypnosis, everything you say, what I need you to understand is everything you say and do is self-hypnosis. And so affirmations are a level of, what you're really doing is hypnotizing yourself. You're shifting and rewiring your subconscious mind. When you're meditating and breathing deeply, you are cushioning it. You are making it more malleable and open to change. When you are exercising, you are hypnotizing yourself to see yourself as someone who is strong, or someone who is fit, or someone who pushes themselves past limits, someone who is disciplined, whatever it is. So all these things are a form of self-hypnosis. So I say all that to say, when I'm making my affirmations, when I'm writing affirmations in the morning, or when I'm listening to hypnosis audios, when I'm listening to affirmations, whether it's on YouTube or my own, the affirmations are all based on being consistent. My favorite format is I'm a person of blank, blank, and or blank. Or I'm a man of consistency. I'm a man of consistency. I'm a man of consistency. And I say that, and I say that, and I say that, and I write it down, and I write it down over and over and over and over again. Or if I'm scripting a page out of my desired reality, I'm saying, you know what? Thank God I learned to be consistent. Thank God I committed to become thank God I committed to becoming consistent, because that allowed me to manifest my Bentley, or whatever it is. Like I'm centering all of these things around the trait that I'm trying to improve. I become obsessed about improving something, a specific character trait about myself. When you focus all in on one character trait at a time, and you start talking like that person, you start acting like that person. That's the second piece of hypnotizing yourself, is you need to act. You need to put on a presentation. Just like children play princess or Disney or whatever it is, you need to act. You need to act as though you are consistent. Put it on display, put on a show. And when you do that, sooner than later, that starts to become who you actually are. That starts to become your normal, your default. That starts to become who you actually are. My camera is heating up. I might need to cut this out. And that's what hypnosis really is. That's what hypnosis is all about. So the title is gonna, like, it throws people off, people who are foreign to hypnosis, because it makes them think that, like, I'm snapping myself into becoming successful. I'm snapping myself into becoming this, like, I don't know, person who is ultra consistent. No, it's the same kind of work that you do if you're trying to become more disciplined or trying to become more focused. It's one day at a time. It's one day at a time. But to the level that you are doing it, and the fact that you're attacking it from a mental angle and this energetic angle, allows that change to happen much faster and to set in a lot deeper than just trying to act consistent, or than just going to the gym every day, or whatever it is. Like, that period of time that you reserve for yourself in the morning and at night, the first thing you do when you wake up and the last thing you do as you're drifting to sleep, that is essentially you taking advantage of your biological clock and your mind's biological clock. Because when you first wake up and when you're drifting asleep, and if you've been watching my videos, you know this by now, those are the times where your brain is most susceptible to new ideas, to accepting new ideas about yourself, about the world, about your past, your present, your future. It's the best moment, the best 2 moments in the day to actually rewire your subconscious mind. I love this stuff. I'm going to continue to talk about this stuff until I get tired of it, but it's because when you realize that your mind is programmable, everything changes, because you start seeing it as just a computer and not like something that's wrong with you. You know, for a long time I thought that I was unfixable, that there was something wrong with me. No, I just needed to focus on getting started. I needed to focus on being consistent. I needed to take responsibility for building myself up into the person I needed to be to get the things that I wanted. And when I started doing that, I started getting the things that I wanted. It's that simple. Anyway, I'll end the video here. Thoughts and questions in the comments. Hit the thumbs up button. That's all I ask. See you guys in the next video. I'm out. Peace.